is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. Boy, I tell you, that is there. I got to watch that movie again because I think there's an awful lot of truth to that. I remember I first got into television and I saw the original story, and then I saw all the filters it ran through, and then the sausage that came out of the other end. That's what news is like. You might like to eat sausage. Oh, you never want to see it made. Same thing with news. Because there's a lot of game playing that goes on. A lot of people just don't get it. A lot of people who do, and then there's a lot of filters. And when I was watching the story of the AIG and the people getting on the buses, and they were all getting on the buses and they were visiting the homes of these executives in Connecticut, first I was outraged, thinking, what kind of people have we turned into? And then I saw the bus and I went, what kind of person rents a bus to do this? Well, we did a little homework on it. The tour was called The Lifestyles of the Rich and the Infamous. But here's the dirty little secret. Who paid for that bus? Acorn is behind the protest. Really? What would they have to gain? Cleta Mitchell, she is the co-chair of the Republican National Lawyers Association. Cleta, I can't tell you, I saw this, and I'm so glad that when we found you when we reached out and tried to find out what's going on here. You happen to be part of what do you call it, a whistleblower case here recently from somebody who was in Acorn. Can you tell me what they told you?
Well, there's so much. We don't have time tonight, but I'll be back if you want to learn more. But in this particular case, there are a number of Acorn employees who have come forward to expose Acorn because they finally realized that Acorn is a lie in many ways. And one of the areas that there's a woman who testified in court last October in a lawsuit against Acorn in the state of Pennsylvania. And she testified about this program at Acorn called Muscle for the Money. And that is a program literally where there are contracts and in many cases funded by labor unions such as the Service Employees International Union, the SEIU, where essentially it's rent-a-mob. They hire Acorn to go and then hire poor people, low-income people, to go and protest or demonstrate or intimidate companies and individuals.
We have something on the AIG thing I hope to get to tomorrow, but I want to focus on two things. One, this angry group of just irregular citizens, they weren't regular citizens. They were picked up in this bus. They were recruited by Acorn, put on the bus, then they called the media and said, hey, by the way, we're doing this tour. Why didn't I see anyone in the media report? That's kind of important information. It's a circus. You don't have a spontaneous thing. You have propaganda. Where was the media asking the question, who rented the bus?
Well, I've thought that for years. I live in Washington, and there were these demonstrations, anti-war rallies and all, and nobody ever says, who's paying for these? Because you don't put on a rally, a protest, or rent a bus. Somebody has to write some checks. And the scary part about Acorn, remember, is that they get a boatload of my money and your money in order to exist, but they have engaged in these intimidation tactics for years.
So the Muscle for Money program, by the way, we asked the whistleblower to be on. She said she fears for the safety of her 2-year-old, so she doesn't want to come onto television. But the Muscle for Money program involves the Service Employees International Union, SEIU. Please help me out. Isn't that the union, if I remember right, that helped Barack Obama out by putting the voting booths into the casinos that clinched the deal for Obama over Hillary Clinton?
In the Nevada presidential primary caucuses. Yes. Well, the SEIU, the SEIU, you could do a whole show on that, Glenn. The SEIU has spent tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in all kinds of organizations, 527 groups, non-profit organizations, Acorn. They have spent tons of money over the last 4 years.
Wait a minute. Where
is the media on this story? Where is CBS, NBC, ABC? Where is anybody on? They've all reported about AIG and the protests. They've all reported about the buses going out there. But here you have, I mean, is it just me that thinks maybe the line that ties this event to the clinching of the Nevada primary for Barack Obama and the Acorn money, that these are all tied together, that maybe these aren't honest brokers here?
Well, you know, there's so much more even than that. You know, add George Soros into the mix, who's funded Acorn. Acorn created the party in Connecticut and in New York, and has poured money to legalize drugs, has poured money into the New York City Council elections, has poured money into the New York State Working Families Party, which is an Acorn front, which is the Connecticut version, is who sponsored this bus tour of the AIG executives. It's all incestuous.
I have you back, but I got to take it in small doses. They took away my M&Ms and they replaced them with grapes because of the war on gins.
It doesn't do any good when you read this stuff.
It's just, I need M&Ms and they gave me grapes. That's not right. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk again, Cleta. And don't miss tomorrow. I hope to do an update on this tomorrow, because, boy, that union thing is that's weird, isn't it? What a coincidence. Stay in touch with the program by signing up for my free. You know what? I just thought of something else. What a coincidence. What did I say last week on the AIG? Why are we watching this hand? What's going on? And is it a coincidence that the White House had Barack Obama on Jay Leno last week? Well, we find out now when you see who was doing these bus tours and who were stirring up all the people to march out in front of AIG. No, it wasn't a coincidence. It was a setup. We are watching a circus. All right, get more information on this and so much more in my free email newsletter. You can find it at glennbeck.com. And don't forget, set your TiVo or your DVR every single night to watch this show. Don't miss a single episode. Now, we're going to shift gears when we come back. Right now, the government can only take over financial institutions, kick down the door and say, you're too big to fail. But now President Obama is looking to give Tim Geithner, and you know the Congress is going to give it to him, power to take over other companies that are also too big to fail. Oh, yeah. Next.